finance, and celebrate lessons from life's reality. Join me as I create spontaneous collaborations and meaningful connections. This is Womoneyty.
Womoney, hindi naman pwedeng, Womoneyty.
Womoneyty. Womoney. Womoney. Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoneyty.
Womoneyty, womoneyty, womoneyty.
Womoneyty, womoneyty, womoneyty.
Womoneyty. Womoneyty, womoneyty, womoneyty.
Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty. Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Do you want to build your personal brand online?
PC Mastercamp for you.
PC Mastercamp is the accelerator of the next big personal brands.
It is the most interactive and transformative 3-day virtual camp you'll ever attend in the Philippines.
You will be equipped with the clarity, direction, and foundation for creating a unique, effective, and profitable personal brand.
Discover your strengths and learn how to leverage them.
Obtain the technical skills and knowledge to maintain and grow your brand.
You will do all of this with close guidance, support, and accountability from the community.
Learn from the coaches that specialize in different areas of brand building such as strengths mastery, brand identity, brand growth, video creation, live streaming and podcasting, graphic design, and writing.
Passionate Creators is a community of purpose-driven, remarkably supportive, and highly competent individuals.
Pursuing what you love and reaching for the stars will be the new normal once you're surrounded with brand builders and thought leaders.
It's your turn to transform your passion into a living.
Transform your plan to action
and make your message go viral. In PC Mastercamp,
passions will be made real.
This is where it starts.
PC Mastercamp for you.
Enroll now.
See you in PC Mastercamp.
Womoneyty.
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 Tama ba? Womoney, hindi naman pwedeng, Womoneyty.
Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoney. Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoneyty.
Womoneyty, womoneyty, womoneyty.
Womoneyty, womoneyty, womoneyty.
Womoneyty. Womoneyty, womoneyty, womoneyty.
Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoneyty. Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty. Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
Womoneyty.
This is a platform where we talk about women spreading positive influence to the world, where we guide you through money management and personal finance, and celebrate lessons from life's reality. Join me as I create spontaneous collaborations and meaningful connections. This is Womoneyty.
Hola!
I'm Heidi. Naputol. I'm Heidi and this is Womoneyty. Hello everyone. Grabe. I was supposed to have a season break pero ginanahan ako masyado because we really end well last season and sobrang lakas talaga ng mga episodes na feature natin doon sa ating series nung nakaraang buwan lang. And I'm really, really so excited to keep the momentum alive. And apparently, ang ganda kasi supposedly this topic will be my series for November, which is my birthday month. But I just thought of doing it now. Tapos, ngayon ko lang nalaman na yesterday actually is Mental Health Awareness Day yesterday. So parang it all just fell into place na at okay din pala na tinuloy ko siya this month because all the episodes for this month para sa series na to will be about self-care and self-awareness, which includes mental health as well. Especially now that I have with me a very, very special guest because part of you knowing yourself, for you to be able to care for yourself and to be aware of yourself, and para hindi mo masyadong ma-feel na nade-depress ka or you will feel down or you feel less of a person. You need these kinds of activities. Itong i-introduce sa inyo ng guest ko. You need these kinds of activities para medyo kumalma ka at you go back to who you are talaga. The most empowered person that you really are, di ba? Kailangan na talaga may mga nagpapaalala ng ganun. And minsan, kailangan mo lang talaga ng someone to tell you or to advise kung ano man yung mga dapat mong kailangan gawin. Super duper excited ako, guys, because this person, parang feeling ko talaga, pinag-adya kami ng tadhana. Ang kapal ng mukha ko, sorry na, yun talaga yung feeling ko. But, nakakatawa because we are neighbors actually. And nagkakalala kami dahil sa milk tea. And after knowing her because she bought milk tea from us, nagkaroon din kami ng opportunity to get her as our supplier dun sa milk tea shop din namin. And apparently, ang dami rin pala yung mga advocacies na aligned sa advocacy ko. So, sobrang natutuwa lang talaga ako at pinag-adya kami talaga ng tadhana. At ngayon, we will be together to discuss with you yung expertise niya. So guys, without further ado, I am very, very excited to introduce to you my very, very special friend, neighbor, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Niña Defensor. Hello, hello.
Hello. Oh my gosh. It's, this is long overdue.
Long
Since
overdue,
we met.
promise. Oo nga, no?
Yeah. Because what month did we meet, ba? I think, well, definitely this year. Actually, wait, it feels so recent. Recently lang, right? Like just a few short months ago.
Few short months ago. Tapos, after that, after natin pinag-usapan yung tungkol sa Wimo, the next thing that we talked about is this nga. Okay, the collab that we will be doing. So, at least now, ito na talaga siya. At matutuloy na talaga tayo. And I'm so excited because, nakakatuwa because, very timing sis because that time we were just talking about your expertise on mindfulness and meditation, right? But right now, you discovered something which we'll be talking about later on din, na it's about naman vulnerability. So that's the first time actually that I've heard about that one. So I'm so excited to be schooled by you, girl. So, but before we go to that topic, ito muna sis. Ito yung I always believe that there is something in the past that triggered or inspired you to be who you are today, di ba? So gusto ko munang pag-usapan natin, pag-chikahan muna natin yung kabataan. How was it like?
How was it like when I was younger, my childhood? Well, I was such a quiet child. And it took a long time for me to be able to open up to people because I was always so afraid to show who I was. I was always so afraid to express myself because I belong to a family of artists and strong minded and willed uh, people, both sides of the family. And
Alphas.
alpha males and alpha females. So I was intimidated at an early age, but it wasn't until my mom actually enrolled me in my very first theater class that I learned how to open up. Tapos nagsisi na siya. Kasi sabi niya, ay shit, sumobra naman. Like after she enrolled me in theater, it was like, there was no stopping me now. But it wasn't, I'm very fortunate to have a really good childhood, despite being surrounded by, every family has its own dysfunction. Everybody is surrounded by chaos. Every life is chaotic. But I've always remembered the good memories more, the good times more. It wasn't until I reached adolescence that I started really getting triggered by life, by the school of life. And I feel like I experienced my very first rock bottom when I was a teenager. And it's the rock bottoms of your life that actually craft who you are today. And we go through a series of rock bottoms in our lifetime. Um, it every single rock, I probably had at least 3 rock bottoms in my life. Because usually we'll just have like a depressing period, a sad period, and stuff like that, and then you hit a rock bottom stage of your life where you feel like you've lost your identity. You don't know who you are. You don't know who your friends are. Every now and then we feel that loss of career agenda. What do I want to become? What are really my passions and stuff like that. But the thing that really, really stuck with me was, I would have to say, my last rock bottom during my mid-20s is who really propelled me to be who I am today. Because if you had met me 6, 7, 8 years ago, you would say, oh my gosh, she is such a cynical person. She's so negative. So
Really?
yes, I'm not even kidding. Like, totally different person. So many people from my past still to this day tell me, you're such a different person. Um, my last rock bottom is not, it's not really a financial rock bottom, because I was working and I've always been busy. It was more of an identity crisis. I was in a narcissistic abusive relationship that I was struggling to get out of. I was a new mom. I just left my corporate job to pursue becoming a full-time artist. And I needed to change my mindset. I didn't know how. I needed to leave this relationship. I felt so helpless and useless, and I was being devoured by mom guilt. So I picked up a book, Law of Attraction book, by Abraham Hicks. And after that, that led from one book to another, Bob Proctor, that led to learning about Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's a neuroscientist who mixes spirituality and science for, the principles of manifestation, the law of attraction, and all of that. And I started my meditation journey because I was so depressed. I was experiencing the biggest low of my life, of needing to remember who I was, needing to become the person that I want to be. And because I experienced that darkness, that I learned that I needed to do different things. I needed to change my personality to change my personal reality. You know what I mean? So diba? So it's
Gusto ko yun. Gusto ko yun.
it's been such a journey. And I've been meditating every day since. It's been 6 years, every single day. And once to twice a day, sometimes I'll meditate for like 3 times a day. Because I'll do active meditations. It's helped me figure out who I am, what I want to do in life. It's helped heal my ailments. That's a whole different topic because I also study energy healing for pain, physical pain, for when I broke my ankle. I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy 2 years ago. I used meditation to heal that really quickly. Same thing with my ankle. I think I met you when I was still healing my ankle. Because the first time that I bought milk tea from you, we didn't see each other. I was in the room because I was elevating my leg. So it was my mom. You actually saw. Yeah. So it was that. It was like a snowball of events that led me to, my meditation journey. And then that led to my passion for the divine feminine energy and using that for manifestation and the law of attraction. And that led to, my fascination for neuro-linguistics programming and all kinds of healing modalities. I explored from Reiki, from crystal healing, past life regression, theta healing. I've done it all. I've explored it all. I have so many healers and therapists because I'm so passionate about healing myself, which made me really deeply passionate about becoming a healer to whoever might listen as well. So yun.
So during that time, it was just all self-study. And
Everything.
it was all your decision to put an end to that darkness and start with a new life, studying all of these things, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was either that or I allowed myself to keep falling. It was either that or I kept putting on more weight that was making me really uncomfortable for, in my own skin. It was either I chose to heal to, find the light, or I stayed in this toxic relationship and continued to be miserable, which would have made me not so good, in my opinion, mother. Because if you're not a happy mom, how can you upraise a household based on love and happiness and joy and comfort, diba? Because our kids feel our energy, especially that's their main love language from their first few years of life is quality time. If my quality time with my child is spent crying and being cynical and complaining about everything, then I knew that something needed to change. I knew that everything had to change. And so here we are today. With Badass Mama.
Because as you mentioned, you had 3 rock bottoms before you finally decided to change everything, right? And I think what I'm getting here is that on the what's different about it is that you're already a mom.
Yes.
So all the more reason for you to change your course.
Yeah. That's what made it even more significant and a lot more impactful, because we go through different rock bottoms in our lives, like I mentioned. My rock bottom as a teenager is different from one's rock bottom when they're in their 30s or when they're in their 20s. The issues are different, but they're just as valid in the moment, right? So that's how it began. And because of that, I developed Badass Mama, which is also about female empowerment. Like your cause, it's all about embracing our feminine energy and manifestation, personal growth, transformation, and of course, healing. And I use that as a platform to spread healing and self healing for
Yeah.
whoever would listen. Yeah.
Yes, you follow her Instagram. Later on, I'll be flashing the links to her Instagram account so that you can be able to follow her badass mama. Kaya sabi ko talaga, I will be having a badass mama in my program. Because
Yay.
yun talaga yung kanyang handle. Okay, before we proceed, I would like to say hi muna because you have a lot of friends, I guess, here in the... Ayan. Wendy, hello. Thank you for watching. Ay, ako pala
Hello. Hey, Gabe.
Hi,
Hi, Wendy.
Wendy. Hello. Sherwin, thank you for watching. And also this Gabe Brillantes is also here. I think you know him. Her chapter ba?
Yes. Hello.
Ayan.
Hi,
Thank you for
Gabe.
watching. Matthew, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And also, si Zachary De Jesus is also here.
Hey. Zach.
Ayan.
Shout out to Zach.
Ayan. So, guys, feel free to type in your questions so that later on we could go back to it and ask Niña about it. Okay? So, let us proceed with our topic. Kasi we've been, we now know about your past and how you got into this position wherein you are really advocating mindfulness, manifestation, meditation, and so on. So, I'm very curious. This is why I told you you have to really educate me on these things because I would normally Google it, di ba? Para malaman ko kung ano yung mga yon. But it's different when someone is mentoring you on these kinds of things, right? So the first question that I will be asking to you is that what is mindfulness and how is it different from manifestation, from whatever it is that you're preaching right now?
They're related, but they're two entirely different things. So mindfulness is the human ability to be aware, to be fully present of your surroundings, of what you're doing, what you're thinking, what your belief system is, and also at the same time not become like hyper reactive and overwhelmed by what's surrounding you. It's going through life through the lens of non-judgment. So this is interesting because if it wasn't for my mindfulness practice, I would not be the optimistic person that I am today. I learned through mindfulness that you can't, even if you're surrounded by chaos, the craziness of what's going on in the world, you can live in the eye of the storm and still have peace, because the practice teaches you to use the tools that every single one of us already has, and to use that to harness like peace and calmness. And it trains us, it gives us compassion training. So no matter, and this is hard. I mean, it's staying calm when shit hits the fan is, sorry, am I allowed to staying calm when things get hard is such a challenge. But as a mindfulness practitioner, I'm able to ground myself. It's hard sometimes. I'm able to ground myself and always think before I act, always think before I react. If this was me 7 years ago, I would have gone ghetto on so many people and so many things, and like, I'm just gonna put my sleeves up
and
like,
influence
go
them with
for
all
it.
your like negativities, no?
And ako pa, like, sometimes I'm just surrounded by controversy and unsolicited drama. I mean, most of us. Now, not so much anymore, because I also have shielded myself. Like mindfulness has taught me how to shield my energy from those negative forces. It teaches you how to not external forces govern your internal peace. And you can do it through meditation. You can do it with the proper breath work, and breathing properly is so important, like what I mentioned earlier, because it balances our left and right brain hemispheres, which just makes us a more improved thinker as a human being. We ponder longer, we react less, and we give ourselves the time. We don't rush. Because once you practice it, you learn that we all have the same hours in a day. We all have the same functions as, anatomically and reproductive, digestive, whatever. Our nervous systems, every system in our bodies are all the same, and we learn to accept that we deserve to take the time to do things properly and compassionately. So that's one practice. I want to delve more. It's If I can share like one key tip for mindfulness and manifestation. Manifestation is a principle of law of attraction, which a lot of us have been familiar with. It's, knowing that your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings create your personal reality. Whatever you see in front of you is a direct response and a direct representation of how you feel on the inside. So, if we are unhappy with our lives, whether you accept it or not, we created that with our minds. If we are happy and joyful, content with our lives in the moment, we created that. And so they are related, because you can't manifest without mindfulness. You have to be mindful of your feelings. You have to be mindful of your thought process and your emotions. One thing that you can do in the morning if you want to manifest the best life is to already, when you wake up, you determine what your behavior for the day is going to be. I call this my non-negotiable. So I wake up in the morning, before I have my coffee, I meditate before Luna starts her school, and then I already tell myself, okay, today, no matter what happens, I am going to react with kindness. No matter what happens or who decides to trigger me, I am going to view this person or this situation with compassion and gratitude that whatever happens or comes my way today was meant to happen. Whether it's something that worked my way or whether it's something that didn't go my way, I'll say thank you for the spiritual lesson anyway, and still just go about my day. And our main job as human beings is to maintain that state of joy and gratitude, so that and be mindful of maintaining that state so we can keep manifesting what we want in life. So that's how the two are related. One cannot exist without the other.
So it's like in the morning you already condition yourself with this kinds of thoughts, diba? So that it could influence your whole day on how you will be able to. Yeah, you're making a declaration first thing in the morning.
Yeah. And it has to be a non-negotiable. Because it's one thing to say, oh, okay, today I'm gonna be nice. Today I'm going to be productive. But these are external responsibilities. You have to set your internal responsibilities first and foremost, and say, no matter what happens or no matter what this person says, I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to be the highest version of myself. no matter how bad somebody says, somebody talks about, well, whatever work I do, or no matter how negative somebody reacts to what I say, what the content that I put out online, if that were the case, declare it already, set it, and you commit to it.
Sis, I like that point. That's a very, very good point. When you mentioned that it's okay if you want to say na parang it's I want to be productive for today, ganyan. It's an magkaiba pala yan, no? There's an external factor and there is an internal factor. And
Yeah.
most of the time, we keep on convincing ourselves to do the external function, which is already
First.
parang expected of us, right? Diba?
Yeah.
Yun muna eh.
Yeah.
Pero tama ka because the internal factors are those factors that would build your values, that will strengthen your values and how you will respond correctly to any
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
situation. And that's totally different
Mm-hmm.
from external factors that we are manifesting every day, early in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ang galing na ano ko
Definitely.
dun. Aha moment din for me.
Yeah. Because like I said, it's our internal state, our internal state that reflects our outside state. So just to put it as in layman's terms, whatever we feel on the inside, whatever we believe, is what we manifest, what we create. So if we are coming from a state of lack, a thinking of lack and scarcity, how do you expect to manifest the a million pesos or more, a $1 billion business, or just the success of whatever you're going through in life, your desire? Like, you want a relationship, you want a successful relationship, you want a successful business. But it's one thing to say out loud, I wish, I want my business to really become fruitful this year. But this happens very often. People say it, but they feel the fear. They feel like, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because the number one blocker of manifestation, number one reason why people say or feel that manifestation or the law of attraction isn't working for them is because we feel unworthy. We fear success because success comes
That
with
we don't deserve.
responsibility. Yes, exactly. We feel like we don't deserve it. So, and that's like a very, very low vibration state. The highest is gratitude and then love. So, gratitude is here. If we, let's talk in terms of like love life. Para, gusto ng tao to eh. Let's say, I want this guy. Pretend, I want this guy. But inside, while I'm saying that, I'm feeling, oh, he's never gonna go for me. They're two different things, but what the universe listens to is how you're feeling, because your emotions are the energy. So if you're not thinking, if you're not believing that what you want is already yours, then that state of scarcity is reflected back to you. It's really just a mirror. The universe is a mirror. So call it the universe, call it source, call it God, whatever we believe in. That's how it works. It's a very, very simple concept that is very difficult to grasp as humans. But the moment we master being mindful to be able to manifest properly, and it's gratitude, it's belief, it's gratitude and faith in ourselves that we deserve the desires that we want, and we deserve the best in life. Those two are what will really create, because we are the makers of our reality. That's
Yeah.
what's gonna create our reality and bring us all the joys in life, all everything that we've ever dreamed of, be it career, love, friendship, lahat.
And we cannot fool ourselves. Even
No.
if we keep on saying that this is ours, this could be ours, but if in reality what we really feel is we don't deserve these kinds of things, or we're
Yeah.
not yet ready to receive these kinds of
Mhm.
things, then it definitely will not happen.
Yeah. And ano like when I consult with people, if this happens so often, they will tell me, I did my words of affirmation today. I did my meditation today. I wrote down all my affirmations in my journal. I said them out loud. Why am I still, after doing that for so long, why am I still in this state that I don't want to be in? So I'll ask them like, okay, so you did your affirmations today. How many times? And they'll say, once this morning when I woke up. Okay, how many times were you in a state of mental poverty? How many times were you breaking yourself down? How many times were you telling yourself or feeling the emotions that you weren't worthy of your desires? And then, it makes people think na parang, oh nga no, like, people spend more time breaking themselves than uplifting themselves. It's not balanced. So, and they don't realize it because we've programmed ourselves since childhood to just, to keep discriminating ourselves. It's become so normal. It's become so normal that it's mundane. So that's something we have to be mindful about. And it's all about breaking old habits. Again, we have to change our personality so we can better our personal reality.
Tama ka, sis. Kasi it happens to me sometimes. Kapag halimbawa, syempre di ba in the morning, you would tell yourself things, di ba, to make your day better, ganyan, di ba? Tapos, all throughout the day, parang there are things that will be happening. Tapos, isipin ko, bakit meron naman akong sinabing maganda for myself this morning? Bakit ganito pa rin yung nangyayari? Without even thinking that dapat pala the moment that a negativity hit me, I should remind myself of what I said to myself this morning. Diba?
And really
And then
believe it.
Yeah, and really believe it. Kasi baka nga mamaya nakakalimutan ko na rin. Parang sinasabi ko lang sa sarili ko just for the sake of saying it. Para lang gumanda nga yung araw. But then, hindi ko naman talaga siya na-feel na gano'n. Kaya iba pa rin yung nangyayari.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh my gosh, ang dami pong mga aha moment ngayon pa lang, sis. Natutuwa talaga.
I love it.
So, I love it. Ito rin, meron din ako itatanong sa'yo. We talked about this a while ago sa backstage because I told you that I have been experiencing vertigo lately. And a lot of my friends apparently are also experiencing vertigo. Maybe pinagdidisikitahan namin baka dahil kulang kami sa tulog or whatsoever, di ba? But you said that meditation and mindfulness can also help ease the vertigo. So how does that work?
I use meditation, and don't get me wrong, this is not to replace any other medical advice or opinions that are given to us, but this is something that has personally worked for me. I use meditation to really heal myself. I suggested that because, with meditation in general, when you do the breath work, it really balances your left and right brain hemispheres. It grounds you. When you combine that with the faith, the knowing that you are healing yourself, you are able to dictate on your cells. So it's actually it's science and spirituality in one. So it's not woo-woo, it's not magic, it's just what it is. And it's a fact. There are so many there's neuroscientist researches that prove that meditation, breath work, and visualization heal and regenerate ourselves. And that's why I mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza to you earlier also. I can send you like a link to his ebooks. I can email you the books also, and we can share them, talk about them. But basically, he says and he proves that whatever we feel, whatever ailments we feel, are because of what we feel on the inside. You know, it's our state of mind. A lot of the people who say, I don't want to have cancer, I don't want to have this disorder, this disease, COVID, manifested. Why? Parang the people are questioning themselves like, I prayed so hard to not have this. Why do I have it? I mean, this is kind of controversial, but it's also because our fear is recognized by the universe that we want it because we keep thinking about it so much. You know, like the other day I was experiencing just stress, mental stress, because being here in quarantine hotel on the 7th day, you're supposed to you take the PCR swab, right? And then that will determine if you're free to go on the 10th day. So syempre, like every single PCR test that I go through always makes me anxious. Kahit wala naman akong hinawakan, wala naman akong ginawa, or hindi naman ako masyadong lumabas, kuno, and stuff like that, it still makes me paranoid. It still brings so much anxiety to me. So I had to do a lot of meditative work, and to believe that I'm totally healthy and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. Ganyan. I also know people who don't leave their houses at all and have not left their houses at all, but still contracted it. But every day, they've been thinking about the fear of getting it. You know, so there's it also our mindset plays such a huge role in how we manifest these things. If meditation and law of attraction also has a lot to do with this, kunyari migraines nga. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that if we could make ourselves sick with our minds, psychosomatic scenarios, diba? That's why that word exists, because if we are super stressed, if we fear that we are going to get this something, so many times people manifest it. If we can make ourselves sick with our minds, why not? How come people don't explore so much healing ourselves with our minds, right? Why can't we heal with our minds? Why can't we use our mindsets to heal? We already have everything in our system to be able to heal ourselves. We're made of hydrogen, we're made of water, we're made of oxygen. Oxygen we take for granted, and that's where meditation comes in. It's all about the breathing. It's all about manipulating the oxygen streams in our system and knowing how to use that as our energy force and not just as shallow breathers, if that makes sense. Because people who don't really get to practice or who are still unaware of the power of the breath take the breath for granted. We just breathe to get to live, to get by, diba? But once we really ground ourselves, sit down and learn how to use our breath to heal ourselves, to manifest the best life, get ready, because everything is going to change. Everything. So you can start with meditation, even if it's like 10 minutes a day, and I'll send you links to breathworks. I can send you recordings of myself also leading meditations and stuff like that. And It'll get you started on your physical healing journey. Nothing is too
I
trivial.
would love that.
Yeah. Nothing is too trivial talaga. Even if it's like a pain in your finger, you can use breath work. You can use mindfulness meditation to help yourself. I'm not saying this will replace your medication or anything, but it will definitely help once you get into the habit.
Yeah, because that's also related to Wendy's question over here. Will the medication bring bad effects on you if you stop using it? I mean, amplified ang emotions natin. If you started taking meds, it will help control our emotion. What if you stop abruptly?
Well, that's why I also thanks Wendy for your question. That's why I mentioned in no way, shape, or form should people stop taking medication that is prescribed to them by their physicians. Meditation is a tool. It is a practice that we should. I encourage everybody to start doing every day to reduce our anxiety, reduce our stress, reduce our physical ailments and pain and emotional pain, mental pain. But I am not going to encourage or empower anybody to stop taking their meditation. That's what I did because when I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy, I was given really, really strong medication, like really strong steroids that made me feel just super loopy, and it made me feel so sprack, that I decided I was just gonna wake up every single morning at 4:30 in the 4:30 a.m. and meditate and visualize for an hour, 2 hours sometimes, because the doctor was my neurologist told me that my Bell's palsy could last 6 weeks to a year or more. And syempre, with my line of work, I couldn't afford my it looked like I was having a stroke. So my left face was paralyzed. It had fallen. I looked really different because I was just super stressed, and my body finally said, hindi ka makikinig ah. Eto sa'yo. So I woke up one morning with this. I woke up in a panic, thinking I was going through a stroke. And I went to the hospital that same day. He confirmed that it was Bell's palsy. She told me, you have to rest. You work too much. And I was like, okay, I have to change something. She said, you're going to have to really reduce your workload. So I did. I rested. I ended up quitting 2 of my jobs because I was working 3 or 4 jobs at the moment. Ano naman? Kasi, like, I wasn't in an office setting. I wasn't in an office setting eh. Single mom household.
Kasi freelance, no? Kaya masarap lang freelance eh.
Mahirap ang freelance. Kasi if you're not moving, then there's no income, diba?
Correct.
But fortunately for me, I took my healing meditation practice really seriously. I committed to it every single morning. I did my breath work and I did my visualizations. And every single morning, I would visualize my cells and my muscles going back into place in my face. And from a minimum of 6 weeks, I was able to heal myself in 3 weeks. Same thing happened for my ankle. Mm-hmm. So last November, I broke my ankle in 2 places, diba? That's why ankle replacement. I think Keiko is here. Keiko, who's in the audience right now, she was actually with me at the hospital in my room waiting for me while I was being operated on. So my right foot is bakal, is already made out of titanium steel with 12 screws on each side because I had an accident. And the doctor said, if you want to walk again, you're going to have to go through the surgery like now, stat talaga. And he also said minimum of a year till until you're able
Keiko is
to
here.
walk. Yeah, there. Hi, Keiko. Um, so the doctor was like minimum of a year until you're able to walk normally, like without a limp. So I was in a wheelchair for a while. I was using crutches for a while. Keiko would pick me up at treetop, and she would literally like, what do you call this? What do you call this when not angkas, alalay me to
Inaakay
go
ka.
sa stores. So I would be able to walk properly and stuff like that. So from 1 year minimum, I was able to heal myself in 5 months doing my meditation work.
Galing!
So when I brought it up to my surgeon, at first he was like, "What are you doing to yourself? Don't stand muna and stuff like that." And I was like, "Doc, I'm fine. I'm practicing. I'm doing my healing meditations, and I'm still following all your instructions and everything. But I never treated myself like I was injured. I still helped Luna with her classes. I cleaned the house. I would still cook. I would do every single thing that made me happy and made me feel normal. So, um, in 5 months, I was up and walking again instead of like 1 year. It's
As
very
if you're
powerful.
not injured, diba?
Yes, and that's why I was able to travel also recently. This recent trip was supposed to be canceled, totally canceled, because it had been booked last year pa. So I was like, I don't think it's gonna happen if I wouldn't be able to walk yet. But I said no, not today. I'm going to commit to myself. I'm going to believe. I choose to believe that every single minute I'm healing, my bones are already strengthening right now. My bones are healing the best way possible. I'm even going to be stronger than I ever was before. And this is the healthiest I've ever been in my life.
Galing! So, wait, kasi ikaw kasi expert ka na on this one, but I just want to make it clear to the audience that this does not happen parang if you go into meditation, it doesn't happen overnight that you will be what do you call this? Parang if you're
Healed,
sick and
no.
you're into di ba, into meditation, automatic para ka ng sininya na alam mo yun na ang bilis niya mag-heal, di ba? But I think this is a product of
Practice.
consistent
Yes,
exercise, right?
consistency.
Practice of
Yes.
how,
Yeah.
yeah, consistency talaga yung ano natin dito.
Yeah.
Sobrang aliw ako doon, sis. So, I think somehow I am doing that pero hindi lang ako aware or siguro dahil mataas lang yung pain tolerance ko, but napapansin ko rin yung sa sarili ko na I heal better when I think that okay lang yan, sakit lang naman yan, mawawala din yan. Parang ganun kasi rin ako mag-isip. But
Yeah.
siguro lang, hindi ako aware at that time that it's already a manifestation that I am doing na hindi
For
ako
sure.
nagpapabuko sa sakit. So it's,
Yeah.
now we are hearing that it really works. And it's a kind of manifestation that we all need to study and to be aware about. Nice! Super nice.
Yes.
Okay. Eto na, sis. You were telling me this was the subject that you told me when I asked you to guest in the show, that you also want to include vulnerability. I don't know anything about vulnerability. Ay, hindi rin ako nag-research para talagang fresh na fresh ang mga sasabihin mo sa akin tungkol sa
Yeah.
sa bagay na to, no? So tell me something, introduce to us what vulnerability is and what self-parenting is.
Okay. Let's start with vulnerability muna, because I have been on this journey for, I would say, 2 years now. And again, because several years ago, I used to be the type of person who was cynical, pessimistic. I was living in my masculine energy, which meant I was always on the go, hustling, hustling, hustling. I didn't allow myself to receive because I'm such an independent person, self-sufficient person. Na-develop yung pride and yung ego ko into thinking na I can do everything by myself. I don't need anybody's help. I don't need your help. I am a strong, independent woman who can manifest my best life by, solo act. Lalo na when I became single 4 years ago. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna do this by myself. I'm gonna raise Luna by myself, blah blah. But that also became detrimental to my mental and emotional health because I wasn't allowing myself to feel anymore. I was always just getting. I didn't know how to receive, so it was blocking my manifestations. And by definition, this author Brene Brown, she's known as the queen of vulnerability. She's a motivational speaker, and she really speaks about this. Her definition of vulnerability is the willingness to speak up, express yourself, and show up without the guarantee of being accepted. It's the courage to speak up and expose yourself, knowing that you might not be understood, but you do it anyway. And this is really important to me because I really want to erase the stigma on the paradox on, the vulnerability spectrum. The most common misconception programmed to us by society is that vulnerability is a sign of weakness. If you expose yourself, you're weak. If you speak up about your innermost fears and emotions, you're weak. So it really it's unhealthy, right? So but the truth is vulnerability is a sign or a measure of our strength. Because in my experience, let's say vulnerability and strength, they go hand in hand, was my opening up and allowing myself to open up in a relationship after being single for 4 years due to an abusive relationship. It's, vulnerability and courage is me quitting my corporate job so I can pursue my full-time artist career. And vulnerability to me is starting Badass Mama. Despite not having much under my wing, in my roster, in my belt roster. So it's really a measure of strength for me, and it has been my number one tool and superpower for human connection, which I'm very passionate about. Like, it helps me relate to people, and that helps me on my mindfulness consultancy and coaching journey. I'm still practicing it. I'm still learning and earning to get certified in becoming a mindfulness coach. But human connection is number one for me. Vulnerability allows people to connect with themselves because it's the most human thing. When you have your walls down, you allow people to see and to say, I'm going through the same thing. I thought I was alone, and knowing that you aren't alone in this crazy effed up world is powerful, right? We're going through this epidemic of anxiety and depression as it is. And if we are going to stay cooped up na nga in our homes because out of necessity, and also choose to stay cooped up in our feelings and our mental health, how are we going to improve our state physically, our health? How are we going to manifest our best lives if we choose to bottle everything up? So I've been on this vulnerability journey for 2 years, and it changed my life. It has allowed me to connect with people from all walks of life, like the likes of you, the likes of people who live in payatas na I've connected with, people who even own yachts whom I've connected with, and it it's made me realize that we're all equal. We're all in this together, no matter what the color of our skin, no matter what our social status is, and everything. And it's it's my number one source of strength. So the moment I feel my pride and my ego, parang what is that, pumapatak siya, or nag-a-alarm yung pride and ego ko pag nati-trigger ako, I catch myself. I catch myself and I breathe and I allow myself to be raw and honest and in my feelings. Because being or conveying what I'm truly feeling is bravery. So they go hand in hand
Agree.
also with me. Vulnerability cannot exist without bravery. Every single thing, if you ask anybody, every single thing that we have done in life, every single milestone that we had to tackle in our lives had to do with us being vulnerable. We applied to this job that we always wanted. Going into that job interview, we're vulnerable, but at the same time, to be able to get that, we have to be brave. Going on your first date after a breakup, and that's vulnerability, but you also have it's courage as well. One cannot exist without the other. So I really want people to understand and to accept that it's not a sign of weakness. If I cry in front of you right now, um, it's me showing, conveying bravery. It's me exposing myself. That's not a sign of weakness at all, and for anybody else too. So I encourage it. Everybody, let's be vulnerable together. So yeah,
Yes,
it's
super. Alam mo sis, I had the privilege to have in the show people who have shown vulnerability. And I agree with what you said that it's a show of strength because not everyone would be honest enough to say that they have been through this, they have been through that. And ang maganda rin kasi doon is that hindi kasi nila alam, especially for the influencers as you are, some of your followers might think that, may look up to you because they would think that you're perfect, di ba? Your life is perfect, what you're doing is great, parang walang flaws eh, di ba? But the moment that they would hear that you are just like any other human being who is also experiencing all of this, all the more that they respect you and all the more that they look up to you because they resonate and they would feel na, oh, pareho lang kami pala. So, and mas nakaka-inspire eh, because nakikita nila sa'yo that you're handling it well despite the fact that you are also undergoing or have gone through those things that they are undergoing right now. And that's really a show of strength. And that's what this world really needs talaga sa ngayon. Na all of us should show vulnerability.
Yeah, and
Right?
it's
Oh
also
my gosh. Ang ganda.
it's sorry, I know are we over time, but I also want to assure people that it's we all go through things. We all go through hardships and struggle and obstacles, adversity, lahat yan. And it's also being able to communicate that I am not in the best state right now. I'm going through it. I'm going through a lot of, hardship stuff. Mga taong to. We're going through, like, we go through
Ang
hardships,
daming
but
nag-cheer sa'yo.
it's the ultimate human experience to also embrace that you're going through obstacles in life. Nahirapan ako. Ganyan. Parang, you're going through a breakup. It's totally normal to go through the human experience and to be honest about it. Because putting yourself out there, even if it's just you and in front of your mirror, be honest with yourself that, Nina, you're going through this because you have been triggered. Your childhood wounds have been triggered by this person or by this situation. But you're going to go through it, you're going to feel it, and then you're going to keep being honest with yourself about it so you can heal in the most healthy manner. You're not going to shortcut anything, and it's going to help you, achieve the best version of yourself. Thank you guys
Nice,
for
nice.
your support.
Ang daming nag-cheer sa'yo. Nina, I have to take this question because this is from my niece. Okay, she's watching right now. Hi, Mia. Okay,
Hello.
Ate Heidi and Miss Nina. I personally thought vulnerability has to be earned. How do you handle it when some people take advantage of your vulnerability?
I always do this thing where it's called the emotional freedom tapping method. Or in short, I'm gonna describe it na lang. I have an invisible button that I push on my body and that I've been practicing for years. Kunyari, if I'm gonna be interacting with somebody whom I know is gonna be a negative person, or if I'm going to enter an environment that would make me feel vulnerable, I always imagine myself in this white light, this shield, right? So that's one thing you can do for yourself spiritually. But like I said earlier, also, it's really important that in the morning you already declare your non-negotiables for the day. You already set your behavioral choices for the day, because that will help you not be taken advantage of. Like, you can also declare, no matter what happens today, no matter who tries to trigger me or to take advantage of my, my weaknesses and my flaws and stuff like that, I will put my foot down. I will respond with kindness, but I'll be firm and not let anybody govern my internal peace. Vulnerability being earned is that's one way. It's a very egotistic and that's not a negative thing. This is just like facts, right? Behavioral facts. Like, if we determine that my vulnerability has to be earned by this person for me to be able to engage with him or really make him my friend, then that's coming from a place of pride. Vulnerability and the act of showing up is a choice that we make for ourselves first and foremost, because we have to attend to ourselves. It's something that we shouldn't consider thinking. We shouldn't consider the external forces when we make the choice to be vulnerable, because we show up for ourselves even if we know that there's a possibility that people may not respond, resonate, accept if we expose ourselves. Then the fact that we did that for ourselves is already everything. So we just have to change our mindset a little bit when it comes to vulnerability being earned. It's a gift for us to ourselves to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. If does that make sense? Did that make sense? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
more for us. Yeah.
Agree. You don't just open yourself to the world kung hindi naman din necessary, or if you feel that those people who will be able to listen would not understand or would not be able to accept it the way that you want to be accepted, diba? So it's really up to
And
you.
even if
Tama.
they won't
They
accept,
people have to earn it. Mm.
even if they, it's so, I'm saying like, I'm gonna put myself out there, even if I know the world may not accept me for who I am,
Mhm.
because I don't belong to the rest of you. I belong to me. And owning
Yeah.
myself is, the biggest gift you can give yourself, because we try so hard to be perfect because of social media, magazines, and TV, and all of that. It's when we are vulnerable, we let go of perfectionism, and that allows us to experience being human, that allows us to be, kind to ourselves, and that allows us to manifest our best life, as I keep saying, because we're being authentic. We're not letting ego dictate how we act for the day. Ego and perfectionism, they are like low vibration states that go hand in hand. Regret, ego, jealousy, all of that. So vulnerability and gratitude, authenticity are up there.
Nice, nice. Thank you for that question, Mia. I hope
Thank you so much.
you found value to the answer of Nina. Grabe sis, alam mo, lagpasan tayo ng 1 hour. Ang dami
I
kong aha
know.
moments sa mga napag-usapan natin. Di ba? Bilis ng oras. Oh my gosh.
Ang
And our audience
bilis.
is really so, engaging ng mga audience natin ngayon with their questions. But, okay, I will be asking this question now. You have mentioned a lot of things, how this journey of yours led you to be a mindfulness and meditation and manifestation consultant. How did your life change when you became a consultant? And was there ever a time when the consultant became the patient? If you know what I
Oo
mean.
naman. I am my own patient every single day. I am my own client every single day, because showing up for yourself is a choice that you have to make every single day. I mean, just because I entered this profession does not mean I know I know it all, or I know how to handle my emotions 24/7. Of course, I'm still human. I still experience being triggered. I experience pain. I experience stress and anxiety and all of that. But with mindfulness, there's a thing that we call beginner's mind. It's mindfulness meditation, and the practice itself is beginner friendly. There are no levels to it. So when we meditate, as my mentors say, um, if you find your thoughts straying when you're supposed to be just focused and being aware of your present moment, everything in your present moment, because it's so easy to allow your thoughts to stray, to like, oh my god, I haven't paid this bill, oh my god, this person hasn't replied to me, and all of that. So easy. But what we do is we just go back to the beginning again. We keep resetting our lives, and it allows us to be more forgiving of ourselves and of others. So if I these days, when I catch myself feeling or getting anxiety attacks, panic attacks, I'm just gonna, stop whatever I'm doing, stop and reground myself. And digital burnout is also so real and has contributed to this mental health pandemic that we're going through also. So when I feel overwhelmed being in front of the computer for so long, it helps to minimize the tabs on my desktop. It helps to put my phone down, face down on the table, not let these things affect how I'm feeling. I just have to catch myself, and it's just part of the journey talaga. Like
The
I'm always
reset.
going to feel, yeah, I'm always going to feel anxiety about certain things, but I just have to go back to, my button, shielding myself, going, remembering what my non-negotiables are for that day. And, as time goes by, it will get stronger. The time that it takes you to recenter yourself will keep getting shorter and shorter, and quality of life will just naturally improve as you go along as well.
Great, great. And Wendy has a message for you over here. She said, "Yes, you may have struggled, but you'll look back on these moments and see how they were stepping stones on your journey to being
Exactly.
the best you. You're so amazing, Nina."
Thank you
Oh,
so much,
diba?
Wendy. Yes, I believe that, and I always tell my friends this and my clients, every single thing that happens in your life, in our lives, is good for
Mhm.
us. No matter how we perceive it in the moment, even if it's like the most heartbreaking, terrible thing that happens, and we choose to see it as like the most terrible, heartbreaking thing in the moment, you will later on realize that everything, good or bad, that happens to us is good for us. And it, like you said, they're stepping stones to, achieving our evolved state. So, tama ka dyan.
Great, great.
Yeah.
And okay, so this is my last question for tonight, sis. I have learned a lot of things from you tonight. And of course, I
Thank
know
you.
my audience also, the viewers also have learned a lot from you, especially on manifestation and meditation and mindfulness and how it contributes to self-care and self-awareness, right? But what else can you say? What message can you tell our viewers on how these methods can help us improve our lives better?
Okay. Well, since the title of our episode is all about self care as a whole, I would say that, there's a balance in self care being, going, taking a trip to the salon or shopping and stuff like that. I also want to convey that self care isn't just that. Self care also involves really difficult decisions for us. Like, self care is parenting ourselves. Sometimes we have to put our foot down, set our boundaries in a certain situation against certain someone. That's a version of self care. Sometimes we have to stick up for ourselves. We have to give a piece of our minds so that we won't be taken advantage of. Self care is also doing the hard work. Like, if we have to make the decision every single day to eat for functionality as opposed to treating us to that favorite sugary or fast foody thing, we also have to make that decision. By the way, yung Yasuda milk tea, they also have collagen in some of their drinks, and sobrang sarap.
Grabe, may
Sabi ko.
pag-promote.
So,
May plugging na naganap.
sometimes self-care is breaking up with that person that's not necessarily even hurting you, but you just aren't happy with because you've outgrown this relationship already. And sometimes self-care is having to send that text or that email to that family member that that's been blocking you for the longest time, sometimes for years, just to be able to create peace in your life and just to create closure. Sometimes it's creating our own closure with someone or something that no longer exists in our lives but haunts us. So one thing that we have to remember is um, to value self-care not just in our not just for vanity needs, but also for our internal peace needs. And that is like the mother load of vulnerability and mindfulness, and that's the mother subject na. Yeah.
I like that. Internal peace. Grabe, you cannot buy that. And unfortunately, it can only be initiated by you. So
Yes,
no one
exactly.
can influence you in doing that. So,
Yeah.
sis, super duper thank you. It has
Thank you
been
so much.
1 hour and 20 minutes of meaningful
Grabe.
conversation with you. And I really learned a lot. And guys, yun nga yung sinasabi natin since we're talking about self-care is not selfish. These are the methods that we can start off na could help us to give that proper self-care for ourselves. It's not important na yung panglabas na external features lang natin yung kailangan natin ayusin or yung productivity natin, but everything should come in because we cannot fool ourselves if we say that we are happy but we really don't feel that. It will also be makikita rin yun sa mga ginagawa natin and makikita rin yun sa mukha natin that we are really not happy. And we're just saying that we're happy but we are really not. So manifestation and meditation and mindfulness is really something internal. It's really something that we should do for our internal peace. And if you want to know more about these methods, you will follow Badass Mama PH and Niña Defensor in Instagram because she has a lot of contents which will help you. Kahit konti lang kayo mga videos lang yung sobrang igsip, you will definitely learn a lot of things from her content. So I do hope that you follow also Nina on this one, on her advocacy to this kind of self-care, because this is for all of us, not just for women but also for everyone, diba, na who are also experiencing this kinds of
Yeah.
trauma, this kinds of depression and stuff like that. So any final words, sis? You want to promote anything, please do it now.
I just want to thank everybody who showed up tonight, and I value you and I appreciate everybody. Thank you, Wendy and Zach. And I'm sending everybody like the best energy and so much love. And just, let's all just stay grateful and remember it's our main job and our main responsibility and service to ourselves is it's really just, oh, my boyfriend is here, Louis. Hello.
Hi,
And to
Louis. Ang
just,
pogi ni Louis.
she said you're guapo, love. So
You're
yeah,
guapo,
just
Louis.
hi, Marie. Yeah, it's just our responsibility to ourselves to remain grateful throughout the day and every day to make that decision talaga. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Thank you,
I'm coming home soon.
sis. Yes, yes, yes. Oo, malapit ka nang umuwi.
Malapit
You
na.
take care over there. And guys, that has been the first salvo of our series for this month. Grabe, simula pa lang yan because we are really pumping up everything because next week we will be talking about mental health naman, and I will be joined by my good friend once again. Isa rito sa mga pinaka little sister from another mother ko din to. It's gonna be about mental health awareness, and we will be talking about we also have another guest during that night, and I do hope that you will stick by again. You guys will watch again because I'm sure that we will be learning a lot of things from my guests for next week. It will be about mental health awareness. All right, thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone, and always remember.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Yes, always remember that you will always be the empowered woman that you are destined to be. Just believe in it. Bye.
Yes. Bye.